Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 132 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. We're doing one thing every day this year to be a better person, to be a better version of ourselves, right? To be a better you. Because guess what? The only person you can be is you. And we're always looking to continually improve. So today we're talking about, and all this month we're talking about finances and different financial topics. And today's topic is savings and the impact it has on our finances. I'll share 4 different ways to save. Some you may be doing, some you've never thought of, and you might not be doing anything. And so today's challenge is to question and ask yourself an audit. What have I got for savings? What am I doing to plan for the future? What am I doing in case of emergencies? And if I don't have anything, why am I not doing anything? Even if you just put $1 a day into savings, you're doing something, and that will build, and etc. So we won't talk about that right now, but I want to talk about savings, different types of savings, the impact it has on you, and then how to get started saving or to do more with respect to savings if you're not doing anything yet. We're going to talk about investments a different day, and we're going to talk about assets and debt and things like that. Big financial topics, some that people just don't usually talk about, but we need to be thinking about and talking about, even if other people don't talk about it to us. There's always somebody that we can get help and support from. So what are some of the different types of savings? First and foremost, and we're going to spend a whole day on this, emergency savings fund, some kind of a safety net. Why do you want to have it? Because it provides financial security and a cushion during emergencies. I have yet to meet someone that has not experienced some sort of setback, obstacle, health challenge, accident, breakdown, like a car breakdown or something, or something that wasn't covered by insurance that you had to tap into your own resources to handle. Even nowadays with health insurance, your deductible can be tens of thousands of dollars depending on what happens in your lifetime. It also reduces the necessity to go to high interest forms of financing like credit cards or digging into your 401k or something like that when an emergency arises. So how much do you want to put in that fund? Probably 3 to 6 months worth. I like to have a year cushion, and that's a year cushion of my monthly living expenses. What would it cost to sustain my life for a month? And then I take that times 12. You can do 3 months. I recommend at least 3 months. If something happens, if you have any kind of a challenge, if you have to help someone else out in your family, for example, an aging parent or a child, and you can't work for that amount of time, do you have a cushion that will protect you during that? That's number 1. Number 2, retirement savings to secure your future, and that are those you love and care about, right? Best ways for retirement savings include, I will echo this, your employee-sponsored 401k plan. Why? Because a lot of employers still have matching funds. Most of my corporate jobs would match 100% up to 15% of the amount of money. So if I saved 15% of my total salary, or if I invested 15% of my total salary in a 401k, the company's 401k plan, they would match that with another 15%. So instead of just saving 15% toward my retirement plan, my 401k plan, I would be putting 30% of my gross in every single year. And that accumulated to millions of dollars for me over the course of my corporate career. Individual retirement accounts, if you don't have a company-sponsored one, we need to be having one of our own, both the traditional and Roth IRAs, and you can look into this and get a financial advisor or research it yourself and find out what's the best thing for you. Otherwise, self-employed options. If you're self-employed, SEP IRAs, solo 401ks, etc., there's always a way to get tax-protected retirement savings going for yourself. And then the impact on our financial health there is it helps us ensure that we don't outlive our savings, right? And it reduces stress and anxiety about financial stability in our later years, right? The vast majority of people that are of retirement age now either can't retire because they don't have enough to live on. Social Security is a teeny bit of what most people need in order to live. Social Security keeps you below the poverty level, and in America, it's not fun to live below the poverty level. Number 3, investment accounts, growing wealth. Again, we're going to spend a whole day talking about investments, but things like brokerage accounts, real estate investments, stocks and bonds. We want to invest in some of these things versus just a traditional savings account. Now, I have not even looked at the interest on savings lately because it has been so minuscule for so long that it hasn't even been kind of worth looking at. So it's kind of my last resort of where do I put my financial excess or the extra money we have. It's the last place it goes. Number 4, and why do we care about investments? Because the rate of return grows much faster, and that's a faster way to grow wealth and to have more for our later years, or more to spend, more resources available to us than traditional savings accounts. And it's a way to build wealth and protect against inflation. Real estate investing in real estate is number 4 for a way to save. And why? Because it's got appreciation and rental income. So it can be cash flow property. It's also got huge tax advantages. Real estate is one of my favorite ways to save, or I guess invest. I consider real estate more of an investment than a savings type plan, but it is a way to get a better return on your savings than a traditional savings account. Impact real estate tends to be more stable and reliable over time. I'm going to say that because I have gotten burnt by some great big real estate downfalls, but I've also turned those to my advantage. So there's always a way to be successful if you're just looking for it. So how do we go about building wealth through savings and asset accumulation? Number 1, we automate our savings and our investments. Pay yourself first. I say this all the time. You have got to absolutely positively pay yourself first. I recommend that people put a minimum of their 10% of what their take home is immediately into a savings account so they never see it. Number 2, live below your means. It's easy in America and many other countries in the world to spend way more than you have coming in. And that is one of the fastest ways to failure and to disappointment and heartache and other problems and stress and drama and trauma, is by spending more than you can afford. Yep, we all want a treat sometimes, but that's not the same as consistently overspending. Living to paycheck, if you've ever done that, and I think almost everyone I know on the planet at some time has, even if it's when we're first getting started. Remember when I first got started, my first job out of college in corporate America was the first time I had ever gotten paid monthly. I got, that big once a month check. But by the 3rd week of every month, because I bought a house, I bought a new car, I did all these crazy things that I shouldn't have done. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? And I overextended myself, and I ended up at the end of the month, by week 3, I was usually pretty much out of money. And so I learned pretty quickly that that was not a fun way to live. It didn't feel very good. And then I needed to change the way I was doing things, which is exactly what I did. So live below your means because it avoids lifestyle inflation. It also, you can track your expenses to help make sure you're not spending more than you're bringing in. And so that you automatically don't, and you put savings in and pay yourself first. Take that 10% off the top, put it in an automated thing so that you never even get it in your checking account, right? Have it automatically diverted to savings, and all of this can be done automatically now. Most of us are paid, if you've got a job still, through, and I don't have a job, so I don't know why I'm saying most of us. Most folks have automatic deposit of their checks nowadays and their finances. So instead of just putting it all right into your checking account or your debit account, whatever you use, have a portion of it, I recommend at least 10%, automatically go into your savings account. And guess what? If you don't have it, you won't spend it. If you don't see it in your account, you won't spend it. Although there are people that spend what they don't have in their account anyway. Another story. Number 3, invest in income-producing assets. What are income-producing assets? And again, we're going to talk about this when we talk about assets. Dividend-paying stocks. Real estate properties are investments that you don't live in and that can be used to make money. Bonds, business ventures are all ways to invest. And again, we're going to spend a whole day talking about investments. 4, diversify your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And again, here's another one I can personally speak to. My ex-husband and I had, I would say, 99% of our retirement in stocks in 2008. And if you were around in 2008, which many of you might not have been, but I was, and had all my money invested in stocks. And every day you could watch your stock portfolio going down by 5 and 6 figures. It was a very painful time for those of us that had our investments in stocks. And if we had left everything there and let it come back over the years, it would be fine. But we ended up getting divorced, and the stocks were divested, and the ex sold a bunch of them when they were low to supposedly prevent our losses, and we ended up losing pretty much all of that nest egg that was in stocks. So we want to diversify so that that doesn't happen to us, right? That's why we say have some cash, have some real estate, have some savings accounts, have some stocks and bonds and other different ways of investing. Have a business. I tell everybody, have a business on the side. 5, focus on compound interest. Why? Because compound interest is magical and allows us to have exponential growth, meaning start early, start investing, start saving early. It's never too early to start savings. It's why we start savings accounts for our kids so that they have got a college fund, things to help them, so you don't have to take out a bunch of high yield loans and then whine because they have to pay them back after they get their education, etc. My kids didn't do that, by the way. So what are some real life examples of this? How does this play out in different people's lives? Well, Sarah shared with me that she's an early investor. Her goal was to save for retirement and build long-term wealth. So Sarah started contributing to her 401k at the age of 23, taking advantage of her employer's match. Remember I said we had a 15% match? Most companies I don't think are that generous anymore. I think the last corporation I worked at was probably an 8% match. That's still an extra 8% that I didn't have to pay. And compounded over the decades since I've been in corporate America, it makes a tidy sum of funds. She also invested in index funds and EFTs, which have given her consistently long-term growth. By consistently contributing and letting compound interest do its work, Sarah is on track for early retirement with a comfortable nest egg. I'm just going to share one story because I want to get into how do you go about doing this for yourself? How do you build wealth through savings for you? Because that's what you really care about, right? Number 1, like I said, automate. Oh, we already did this. Automate savings, live below your means, invest in income-producing assets, and diversify your accounts. All right, I guess we're done. Just losing track of what I'm talking about sometimes. That's it. So what are we doing today? We're taking a little audit of our current savings situation. What are you putting away? What are you not putting away? What could you do right now? And I'm going to say, then start doing it today. Start doing something today. It's pretty easy to call your bank or email your boss, or not even your boss, email your HR department or payroll, accounting department, and say, hey, I want to divert 10% of my gross into my savings account instead of automatically just into my checking account. All right. Any questions? You know what to do. Hit me up and ask. Let's have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.